Hi, Jen here from Jen Michelle Coaching, and today I want to talk about how to forgive and move on. Forgiveness is not something we just make a mental and logical decision to do. Forgiveness is a practice in awareness and softening and opening ourselves up. So I want to talk about ways in which you can support yourself in forgiving someone or forgiving yourself in any area of your life so you can just really draw out more of your natural innate beauty and live in this world with a lightness and without all this heavy baggage on your back. For those of you new to my channel, I would love to invite you to subscribe. I release a video weekly. Number one, when someone has done something that has been a betrayal, or let's say we betrayed ourselves, we don't really have a full consciousness or awareness at the time of what it is we're doing. And that can be a tough pill to swallow. Yet when we can kind of recognize that one understands but doesn't fully get what they're doing because they are in survival mode or their belief system is fueling them to do things that are rooted in a lack of integrity or that are unhealthy for themselves, we can sort of find a little bit of peace in knowing that they are not in the present moment, that they are not conscious, that they don't recognize fully what they're doing. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. And that kind of leads me into the second thing I want to talk about with this. When we do something to hurt someone else, we're hurting ourselves because we're not separate. We're all interconnected. So if we can understand that if someone is doing something that's unforgivable or a betrayal, they're hurting themselves just as much as they're hurting the person that they're doing it to or taking advantage of or showing up with that lack of integrity for. So when we understand that what we do has a direct impact on others as well as ourselves, we realize that it's in our own best interests and it's for the greater good of the universe, of the world, of your community, to do the right thing, to show up consciously, to think things through and ask yourself, is this going to benefit me in the long term? Is this rooted in expansiveness and possibility? Or is this old? Am I trying to get a need met? Have I gone back to the jungle and I'm acting like I need to fight for resources? You really want to sort of go deeper and let any act you're about to do that you think will get you what you want really start to bring a higher level of questioning to it, because when we do things that are rooted in this lower vibration, they come back to us even though in the moment it seems like we got something from it. So if we can look at forgiveness through this lens of, yeah, they hurt me, but they also hurt themselves, because that is sort of the law of cause and effect, we can recognize that nobody won, that nobody conquered in a given situation. And as unfair as it may seem in the moment, the universe does have a way of balancing things out. And if we can surrender that need to be the ones to control it or manage it, the more peace and harmony we're going to create within our lives. Number three, boundaries are good, grudges are toxic. So when we talk about forgiveness, this doesn't mean that, oh, I have to be best friends with her again, or, oh, I have to let them back in my life as the same way they were before. This just means that you don't walk around with a heavy heart or with anger or with any emotion that weighs you down day to day. So boundaries can look like, I forgive you, yet I don't want you in my life. It can look that way. That's a boundary. It doesn't mean you will have to hold the anger or the sadness or the resentment or anything that you're working through. Really look at this as something distinctly different. But to not forgive and to sort of curl up and contract and feed those instinctual tendencies grows in our ability to create more of what we don't want in that sense. So what I'm talking about here is If we sort of cultivate a practice of forgiveness, of openness, of letting go, we get good at what we practice. And so it becomes more and more natural to forgive and to allow, recognizing that we still get to have boundaries, we still get to make good decisions for ourselves, and we don't have to do anything. We get to just write the rules as we go along, and our boundaries are our boundaries. You cannot have a wrong or a bad boundary. So it's about just connecting to what you need and giving to yourself in a way where you can approach life in the world with a softer heart and a more openness, and really cultivate a practice where you get good at growing, having a light suitcase or no suitcase on your back, and you just have a lightness and an airiness about everything that you do, so you can be free. Grudges are toxic in the sense that the only person we're punishing in that is ourselves. And so just kind of notice that resistance, that tendency to withhold, and instead really practice loosening your grasp. Ways to do this, I think a body scan is really helpful, because if we move to the source of what, created the conflict, we'll notice that we likely start gripping our fists. Maybe our jaw's gotten really tight. We're sort of contracting our body in, and instead it can be really helpful to just unclench the hands, relax the jaw, roll the shoulders down, and to just open yourself up and just turn into your breath, just kind of drop into your body, surrender that narrative, and that emotion will begin to turn. And as that emotion begins to turn, you've just released a little bit, and you get to release a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And over time, this is what leads to full forgiveness. And for you, feeling free and feeling amazing and feeling like you don't have anything in life weighing you down. So I think that this is really, forgiveness is the biggest gift we can give ourselves. And so how can you grow in your ability to give that to you today? If this is something you're struggling with, or if something you've been practicing for a while, I would love to hear. I love your comments and questions, so feel free to share anything below. And please check out my site, jenmichellecoaching.com, because I have all kinds of resources on grief, on love, on opening our hearts. And I would love for you to check out my programs as well as my free guide and free blog, all at jenmichellecoaching.com. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you all next week.